Hi, guys. Hope you're doing well today. It's Fred and Sheila with Hatfield, McCoy Museum Adventures and Fred and Sheila Investigates.
Hey guys, thanks for joining us. We're going to be on another video today from the TBI where they interviewed
Griffon Mullins. Okay.
I think his wife's name is Phyllis.
Hmm.
Guys, imagine sitting in your living room, get a knock at the door, and you answer it, and there's four police officers, or 3 police officers and a prosecutor, but 4 individuals.
Well,
And they're there to talk to you about Buford Pusser, your one-time brother-in-law, and your sister's death 58 years earlier.
okay.
This video, I have seen it. Sheila, or audio.
Yeah.
Sheila hasn't.
I
Sheila
have
will be
not.
hearing it for the first time, as some of you all. And like we do on all of them, I'll be stopping and talking, naturally. It's what I do best. And we'll try to get some insight together
Okay.
where you guys can put your comments in the comment section, because they do help. We do like hearing from
Yes.
some of
we
you's
do.
got some information that we're not even privy to,
Right.
and thank you for that.
Thank you.
If you thought that the last 5 videos was informative, dealing with the interview with Detective Michael Parsons with the TBI and Tammy Johnson
and Teresa Smith.
then we think you're really going to be. We'll just see. Let's see what your thoughts are. I'm sure some of the family members are going to be flabbergasted, but let's play the video. It's going to be another one of those videos that's probably going to go in 1, 2, 3, 4 parts. We're not going to rush it. I know some people says, well, their videos drag out, or they may drag out to some people. To some people, they're informative. And we want them to be informative.
Yes.
For down the road someday, if somebody ever doing research and they want truth with proof, we think some of our videos may be enlightening to them.
Mhm.
And that's what we're hoping for. This is not about clicks. This is not about views. This is about Sheila and I giving our opinions,
Right.
speculating, and throwing some of our job, our investigative skills into. I was a police officer for 40 years. Sheila and I have been researching the Hatfield McCoy feud for the last 40 years.
Mm.
We've been married 40 years, and I was already into it. And then when she got in the family, she's the same way. Turned into quite the investigator. We've uncovered things with the Hatfield McCoy feud that no one ever knew, or it wasn't shown as the truth. We proved that it was the truth with proof.
That's right.
Let's start this video. Babe, you got anything before we get started?
I'm curious to see what it
I have
holds.
prepared Sheila for this video because
Yeah.
I thought it was alarming. I thought it was cheesy. I thought it was coercive. I thought it was all these different things. That's what I thought when I first heard it.
Mhm.
You guys may not feel that way. Maybe I read into it. Let's see what you all think. Keep in mind, this man's in his upper 80s.
Okay.
He's in his upper 80s, him and her. They're elderly. See if you guys think he's got full cognitive ability, or does it seem like? Because when I heard it, I've only heard it once, but when I heard it, I found different things. Either he's confused, and they got this guy to sign a release to dig his sister up, not the other family members. They didn't even tell the other family members. Understand that underneath, or on top of Pauline, they had buried
Michael and Diane,
2 of Pauline's children.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't even let the family know they were going to dig her up. they didn't know that the ashes from those two moms and dads, the son and daughter of Pauline, was laying on top of her mother. They dug them up, scattered them. Who knows where they're at?
Sad.
Yes, it's sad. But let's play this. Sheila and I will be here. Guys, sometimes people says, oh, I figured this out, or I said this, or I sent them that. When we do these videos like this, you'll see us in the same clothes.
Yeah.
For that last one, 5 days, we was in the same clothes. The last video, I'd put my hoodie on to go take the dog out, but we were still in the same clothes.
Mm-hmm.
So just because you don't see something, or you might say something in a post or something, this is our opinion. This is the way we feel. And you may agree with us, or we may agree with you, but we're not copying. This is our first time doing a video on this.
Right.
It's just that we cut our videos down to an hour long, and then we stop it and we'll make another video. The last video interview was over a week ago.
Right.
Over a week ago, we did that.
All right.
And we just played it this week.
Yeah.
So,
so when they're extremely long, we just cut them.
part them up.
Yeah. So that's why you see us in the same clothes.
And we're in the same clothes, and we're in the same, it's the same. Even if you read something there, we've already got this video made and time to put out.
Right.
Let's go, baby.
All righty. Let's
play that beautiful. It ain't beautiful.
No, let's see what this audio holds.
Play that audio with Griffon Mullins,
yes,
Phyllis Mullins, the TBI. They'll introduce themselves.
Okay.
Today's date is Tuesday, November 28th, 2023. The time's 11:04 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Assistant Special Agent in Charge Mike Parson, Retired Special Agent in Charge Joe Craig, Special Agent Brent Booth, and Assistant District Attorney for the 25th Judicial District are at to conduct an interview with Griffon Mullins, the last remaining living brother of Pauline Pusser.
Wow.
Stop it there, man.
Okay.
Why was that name cut out?
That's what I was wondering. The assistant
prosecutor's office.
District attorney or whatever, yeah.
The assistant prosecutor's office. That name was cut out for some reason. Why?
Good question. I was wondering that.
Because I heard one place where they introduced and they said Mark Davison. And I'm thinking, was Mark Davison, did he take time off to go with them on this? But that's not what I'm hearing there. He said assistant DA, but they didn't say no name.
Huh.
Go ahead.
Okay. Okay.
They may be walking towards the door.
Yeah, let's give it a little bit.
I'm thinking they're walking towards the door now. You'll hear them knocking here in a minute. This
Griffin?
Yes, sir. How are you?
Hey, good. Mike Parson.
Pleased to meet you, sir.
Meet you. I brought some folks with me if you don't mind.
Good.
With Joe Craig.
Pleased to meet you, Joe.
Lisa Miller.
Pleased to meet you.
Lisa.
Miller.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having us in your home.
Hello. Are you Miss Phyllis?
I am.
I am Mike Parson. I'm the one you spoke on the phone.
Glad to
a few
meet
weeks ago.
you.
Glad to meet you.
Brent both.
Glad to meet you.
And I'm Joe Craig.
Glad to meet you.
Just so you know, we're not some kooks writing the book, because I don't know if people, put you and family together. We just show you my credentials.
Okay.
Who we are, we say we are.
I know. I can appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
And I'm Lisa. You're Lisa. Sorry, Lisa.
Lisa is Assistant District Attorney with the 25th Judicial District in McNairy County.
Oh, okay.
Area.
Okay.
So we brought her with us at the request of the DDA, Mark Davidson, who's her boss.
Okay.
And then we're with TBI, and Joe's
Let's make sure we get Mr. Davison's name out there. We want to mention that name. Go ahead.
retired special agent charged with TBI, but he's helped a lot on Pauline and Buford's case. So
Okay.
he's still
Will y'all have a
Sure,
seat?
sure.
I'll take your.
Guys, I'm going to be stopping periodically just to make points. I'll try to make it short, but remember, retired. I think there's 2 retired now. Remember, the other guy said he was retiring in 60 days when he talked to the
2 women.
the 2
Yeah,
women.
Tammy and Teresa.
So 2 of those agents that's on this case, Joe and the other one, were retired at least before this case was, before they held their press conference. So that means that with them being retired, they were contracted back out, brought back to work as independent contractors, independent investigators for the TBI. They didn't want to use other TBI agents that were still on the job, that wasn't retired, that's drawing retirement and drawing a supplemental paycheck. They had nobody else that could investigate this case, I guess. They wanted to keep the guys that was already on the case. That as long as this case was going on, my point is, as long as there's a Buford Pusser investigation, as long as there was a Buford Pusser case, that kept these 2 guys who ultimately retired, that kept them on the payroll with another paycheck, not only their retirement, but another paycheck where they're contracting out. I just curious. Go ahead.
Jackets.
Oh, I'm fine.
If not, it's not all that hot in here, that's for sure.
This is a chilly day.
Yes, it
very
is.
Winter is here.
Is it turned on?
You want me to take your coat? Okay. You want me to lights on or anything?
Well, you mind if I sit here by you, Mr. Griffin?
Oh, yes, sir. Go right ahead.
No, that's, yeah, I'm telling you.
I'm proud you guys came
Let
in.
me turn on the light.
Well, I'm proud to finally meet you.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
I know, probably getting a call out of the blue from somebody that you have no clue who they are. They say they're somebody. I don't know if you get.
Guys, I do want to make one point from some of the comments we've had from the last video,
Okay.
and that is on investigative or interviewing techniques. See, there's no reason, even when he told the women that, no, I'm not taping you. There was no reason for that. Those women were there voluntarily. Those women were there to be interviewed. They welcomed the chance to be interviewed by the TBI and be listed as witnesses in their Buford Pusser famous investigation. So there's no reason at all to use any techniques, any investigative techniques or anything. They're willingly. This is not like somebody trying to sneak somebody into an interview, just like Mr. Mullins here. They have agreed to be interviewed. They have agreed to talk about this case.
Right.
Go ahead.
People calling you all the time? Like
No, I've always stayed pretty low and
good.
and stayed out of the.
What's the best way to be?
Well, it was so crazy when it happened, and for years after that. I mean, it was just relentless calls, and same people would call.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, were you in the Army when this happened? Were you is that how you ended up
No,
in Kentucky?
I was in the Army when they got married,
Okay.
and no, I was out.
Where were you stationed at when you were at Fort Knox, or?
I was at Fort Knox, Fort Hood, and 16 months in Korea.
Well, thank you for your service, first of all.
Yes, sir.
So what year would that have been? When
60 to 63.
Okay. I guess getting to where we want to go just for some historical, and I know you had if at any point in time you feel like you just get tired, I know you had a pacemaker.
Right.
Just let us know. We don't want to tire you out. But
No, you should be good.
just some historical kind of background on growing up with Pauline and kind of, now were you older than her or was she older than you?
She was the oldest of 6 kids.
Oldest of 6 kids. Who all were the kids?
Pauline, Kathleen, Aileen, Clayton, myself, and Walter.
Okay. And now, I think you told me on the phone, you and Aileen are the last 2.
Yes, I lost a brother and sister this year, 10 days apart.
Sorry to hear that. Yeah, well, that day's written down for all of us at some point in time.
Yes, for sure. And this has been a bad year. her oldest daughter just went through a double mastectomy, and she's currently going through chemo right now.
He said
And
he
her
was
other
in there
daughter
when he
just
got
got out of the
married.
hospital. They
He said
MRI'd
he was
and
in the
CAT
service when he
scanned
got
her.
married. He said from 60, didn't he, to 64?
Definitely, yeah.
Well, it makes you feel any better. My sister-in-law, she's now in her 7th year. She had
Stop.
diagnosed with breast cancer. She had
Didn't he say he was in the service from 60 to 64 when they got married?
I really don't remember.
Yeah. That's why I was asking, because I knew they had got married in like 58, 59.
1959.
So they were already married by the time he went into service, wouldn't they have been?
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll have to go back and listen
Yeah,
to that. And then
that's interesting.
Sorry.
What any of you wants to rewind there and listen, guys? What we're looking for here is competency. We're not experts in no means in anything. Competency. He says that whatever he just said about him in the Army or out of the Army or
Mhm.
whatever, when Buford and Pauline got married, well, they got married in 1959.
Mm-hmm.
He mentioned something about the 60s with his service. We'll have to go back and we'll do that later on. But again, let's try to watch what Mr. Mullins says and the aspect of his competency. They didn't do a competency hearing or evaluation to make sure that he was fully aware, fully functional, fully knew what that he was talking about. And at the end of this video, you're going to hear comments
Okay.
that he stated that would a uncle or grandfather or relative make these kind of statements about your relatives, or we'll just wait and see till we get to the last video.
Okay.
But in between that, just something like that, if he's given the wrong dates of when things took place or things happened, that could be a clue. Doesn't mean that it is. Sheila and I are not experts, but we did keep
I
my
know.
mother for the last 5 years who had dementia. And you could ask her what year it was, who was the president, who was this, that. And
Yeah.
sometimes she thought she was 7 years old. Sometimes she was 17 years old, getting ready for high school at 3:00 in the morning. She had a play that day, or people's minds work differently.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just everybody keep our ears open and let's see what we come up with.
Okay.
Good point, babe.
the double
Let's see.
mastectomy. They called it soon enough that I think it's that 5-year window after you've been diagnosed that they consider you in
Pretty much
remission.
Yeah.
So that's a success. So if they called it, she had the double mastectomy. She's going through. My sister-in-law went through chemo, and that was rough on her. But,
Yes, it is.
But you couldn't tell now.
Mom and Dad.
She's alive, and so she made it through that. So hopefully your daughter will be the same.
Yes, she's a nurse practitioner, and she's familiar with the process. And our youngest daughter is just a regular RN.
Hey, the last one I got before I forget, I'm going to give you that just so you got my card, just
Well, thank you,
in
sir.
case you need to keep it. So y'all grew up, and it was at Hayside, Virginia, is where
Yes,
y'all grew up. And is that where your lineage of your family, your mom and your dad, and everybody's been from that part of Virginia?
Yes, yeah. We all the kids grew up there, and as we got old enough, everybody bugged out because there was nothing left there but coal mines.
I got you.
So we all ended up basically in Chicago.
Okay.
Everybody, cousins.
That was my.
When one goes, everybody goes.
I got you.
That was common in that
Yeah.
time period. In Yeah. fact, my mother and father, they were raised in very rural parts of Missouri, and they all would go to the big cities. There was no St. Louis and Chicago. There was no
Right.
jobs for anybody.
Yeah.
Kids do that, find jobs, make a living.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you did.
Because working the coal mines wasn't an easy life back then.
No, my dad spent 45 years underground
Wow.
Man, bless him. I tell you what, that's a...
working in coal, sometimes 24-inch from the floor to the ceiling.
Wow.
Crawl around in the water. There was always water in them old mines.
Mm.
And there's 3 or 4 miles back in there.
It takes a special kind of person.
It does.
And that was a special kind of,
Coal miner, the old
Yeah.
the old type that'll dug it and hand shoveled it. Yes, it took.
Well, that whole generation, that's just a special type of hard people.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, that's all they knew. That's all. It was normal to them.
Yeah.
So it was survival. That's the way you survived.
But he loved every day of it. Said he never, and he'd go back years after retired. He said, I'd go back today if I was able.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
So he was alive when Pauline was murdered, right?
Yes, sir. Him and my mother both.
so were y'all all in Chicago still at that time when this happened, or?
No, we had moved back here. My sister I just lost, they lived about 2 blocks down the street. And, yeah, they lived down there. Lived over. Okay, they lived here. And we lived here. And,
But we've always lived in since he got out of service.
no, when Pauline got killed,
We
Kathy
was-
and them hadn't moved here yet because they was coming in town, stopped to spend the night with us, and they was going to leave Sunday morning to meet Pauline in Buford down at my mom and dad's in Virginia.
Yeah.
And
Stop it.
So that proves they were going on vacation.
Could you hear that, guys? They confirm right there. Now, Mr. Griffon, when he first starts out, Mr. Mullins, he starts out in one way. He starts out with Buford, a good guy. Buford done this, and then somebody convinces him along the way otherwise, but we'll let you be the judge of that. Let's just go with the facts right now. The fact is that through all these years, everybody said that Buford and Pauline was going on vacation that morning. They were leaving that morning to go on vacation. Their bags were packed. The kids were asleep, and Buford got called out, and Pauline woke Diane up.
Mhm.
Go ahead, babe. Interrupt anytime.
No.
Told her.
That she was going to go with Mr. Pusser because she's afraid it would take too long because once he got started talking, she said he could talk all day.
You're going to hear that in a minute.
Mhm.
But he also told Sheila's played a video of a barber. Buford went the day before and got a haircut.
Mhm.
And he was telling the barber, who had no interest, no reason to falsify a statement or do anything like that afterwards. He simply told everybody that Buford was in there the day before and they were going to see the in-laws the next day on vacation.
Mhm.
Have to visit the in-laws every now and then, he said. Mr. Griffon and his wife, Phyllis, just confirmed that. They were going on vacation the next day. So for all these people, Mike Elam, Baldwin,
Mhm.
all these people that says, no, she'd been wearing 2 sets of clothes out every day to get her clothes out of the house. How many of you look at your wife's drawers or the closet, dresser drawers, and see if anything's missing or if she's taking her clothes? Sheila could clean out every dresser she's got. I wouldn't know it till she's gone, or the closet. I don't go around looking every day to. Mike Elam says, oh, she was putting on 2 outfits every day and she'd take one and store it somewhere else and to sneak her clothes out of the house. Who has an imagination like that?
Mhm.
They were packed to go on vacation. Go ahead, babe. You're exactly right.
Yeah, I was glad to hear that.
Yeah, that confirms it.
Sure does.
But they convince him differently in a minute. Just
Oh.
listen to them.
Okay.
we was eating breakfast that Sunday morning about 6:30, and they called us, said Pauline had been killed, and View was in very bad condition.
Do you remember who called you that morning? How y'all got
No,
the?
I sure don't. I don't think it was Helen or Carl.
Because it's hard to believe these days, like something like that happens. It's almost instantaneous that you get that kind of information. Back then, you almost think like, well, how long did it take you to get notified as a family?
Yeah, we got
6 to 10
it.
hours sometimes.
We knew something within. I think she was killed probably around 5:30 or something. I'm not sure.
That morning.
Yeah, and so we knew some. We knew she'd been was dead at probably within an hour, hour and a half time.
Gotcha.
It might have been Carl that called us. I guess it was Carl.
I don't really remember.
Okay. Well, it's been 56 years, so I wouldn't expect you to
It's been
know
a
right
long
off the top of
time.
it. And some of these things we're asking you, don't get in the weeds with the details. We don't expect you to remember 56 years ago what you had for breakfast, you know.
Yeah, it was dramatic. We was down there for a visit the last week in July on vacation, and
So right before this, y'all were down there for vacation.
yeah,
Okay.
10 days? Oh, maybe probably a little less than 2 weeks before they ambushed them, and
Stop it. Listen to them before they ambushed them.
Yeah.
Mr. Mullins, we were down there about 2 weeks before they ambushed them. It's what he says.
Mm-hmm.
It's an ambush. Now, they may have very well been down there, but during the last years of Pauline and Buford's life, they didn't get along good with me. This is from people that know with Mr. Griffon. Griffon and Buford didn't get along. But go ahead.
all went over Corinth and had a good dinner and came back and everything was fine.
Did y'all stay with Buford and Pauline while you were there?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Was their house big enough at that time?
Yeah, they had a 3-bedroom house.
We stayed in the old house, the one that
Burnt.
burned down.
Yeah.
But was it on the same property?
Yes.
Okay.
Then one burnt down and then they rebuilt.
And that's the one that's the museum now.
Yes.
But it's on the same
Yes.
lot.
Same spot, yeah.
Property, yeah.
Well, and part of what we do as investigators and prosecutors is sometimes we have to ask, just very personal kind of
Right.
questions and kind of backing up from Buford. Now, Pauline was married prior to Buford
Yes.
in Chicago, correct?
Yes.
Vance.
Roman Vance. He drove a coal truck in Bradshaw, West Virginia.
Okay.
And Pauline, I had an uncle an aunt that lived there, and Pauline was over there working at the time, and that's where she met Roman at.
Okay.
And I remember he drove his coal truck all the way from West Virginia over to Mom and Dad's to come and ask for,
Really?
yeah, Pauline.
Okay. Kind of old school there, wasn't it?
That was old
Very
school,
old
man. And
school.
I can respect that, though. I can respect
Yeah,
that.
150 miles, I guess, to drive an empty coal truck on those winding roads down there.
Yeah, them roads weren't that good.
Yeah, it was
Oh, my
awful
God.
serious about that, wasn't it?
Yeah,
And the brakes probably weren't real good on that truck.
yeah.
But I
They were
guess,
married for, maybe 8-10 years, I suppose.
Now, their relationship had some, they had a rocky kind of relationship, right? Or best you know.
If they did,
Stop it.
we never knew about it.
Guys, some of y'all may be able to do some research there. Where we're on this, we won't be on the computer, but he says they were married somewhere around 8 or 10 years. Now we know they had Mike
Mm-hmm.
and Diane. Then she had another child, Felicia, which we're going to hear about here in a minute. But he says they was married 8 or 10 years when Buford and Pauline got married. Let's check and see how old Mike and Diane was at that time. Seems like they were in the single digits, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And what I'm trying to do here once again is see what Mr. Mullins see how good he's remembering, because he says that she was married to Roman Vance, Pete Vance, for 10 years, 8 to 10 years. And I'm trying to see if that's correct or if it was a lot less than that. Because I'm thinking it was a whole lot less than 10 years. Somebody that's out there, check and put it in the comments. You can continue, baby.
What kind of led them to divorce or?
Well, he got he got into the brown bottle pretty heavy, I think,
I got you.
and
Stop
got
a minute. He got into the whiskey pretty good.
That's what
The
I'm
brown jug. It's what you call it in the mountains. The old corking. He got into the brown jug. So Pete Vance, Roman, was a drinker. And that was part of the reason that he became an abuser. But go ahead.
like another women, I suppose.
Like the other women.
And
But now that you just started to say, so something I just kind of wanted to but you said that when I asked you about that rocky relationship, then you said, well, you didn't know, or y'all didn't
I
really
never,
know.
as far from being around them, and Pauline had never said anything. I know he wasn't physically abusive to her. I do know that.
Stop it there. Mr. Mullins says he knows that he wasn't physically abusive to her. Now, I heard this the other day, and I'm wondering, is he talking about Buford at this time, or is he talking about Roman Vance? Because he says Roman Vance liked the bottle and he liked other women.
Mhm.
And then they were talking about abuse. Again, I'm trying to see if Mr. Mullins is on the same page as these investigators, because
Okay.
I'll show you why here in a minute on some other statements, but go ahead.
Okay.
They had, from what I understand, they had 3 kids. They had Michael and Diane, right?
Yes.
And then was there a third child?
No. There
Other
was a
daughter?
third child, but that was through a different marriage.
Okay. So she was.
Stop it.
Was that before?
Pauline Pusser, according to all family members and everybody we've ever talked to, was married twice.
hmm
Roman,
Roman Pete Vance and then Buford Pusser.
she was married twice, not 3 times. And this is where Oakley Baldwin very well could have got his mama's baby daddy's maybe. Maybe he's the one that told Mr. Griffon, because you're going to hear Mr. Griffon say later on, Mr. Mullins, that he didn't want Oakley Dean Baldwin contacting him anymore. I don't know if it will be in this video, how far we're going to get, but you're going to hear him tell the detectives that he doesn't want Baldwin contacting him anymore, that he's been trying to contact him. And so did Oakley Dean Baldwin put that in his head, or does Mr. Mullins know something about a third marriage that was kept secret from everybody in the world? Or is Mr. Mullins, once again, have some memory issues? Again, there was no competency hearing done in court or through a social worker or medical staff, nobody, to make sure. That's one of the questions they don't ask here. They don't ask him who the president of the United States is, what year it is, they don't ask nothing to deal in. And I'm not saying that he does. I don't know that he's got a competency issue,
Right.
except there's 2 or 3 comments that he makes. Well, there's more than that, and you'll pick up on them as we go. But here's the second one, and it is that Pauline was married 8 to 10 years, and then now she's been married 3 times instead of 2. And she's got another child by the third marriage.
Yeah.
She only had 2 children by Roman Pete Vance, and the other child was in another marriage. We're not aware of another marriage. No family member that we know of is aware, which tells us Mr. Griffon is confused.
Mhm.
Tells me that. I'll speak for myself. But do you see where I'm coming from?
Right. I agree with you, because I can't remember the exact age of Diana, but she wasn't 10
Single
years old.
digits, one.
Right.
Single
Right.
digits.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go ahead. Just remember these things, guys.
Yeah, this is interesting.
Or after?
There's four people, 3 TBI agents,
Okay.
males,
Mhm.
1 female from the Attorney General's office. Let's see if anybody picks up on anything peculiar, anything unusual that he says, anything that would tell you that maybe this fella's got some issues. I'll give you a clue ahead of time. If they do, they don't mention it. They're not there for his mental evaluation. They're there to get that paper signed where they can dig that body up out of that ground. That's what they're there for. They have one go. Thank you, babe. Let's go ahead.
Okay.
That's after.
All.
Yeah.
Okay. And again, like I said, this is just us in this room, and I mean,
Right.
but as investigators, we try to, to fill in as much of the picture as we can, because, in murder cases, I mean, typically the people you see sitting in this room with you, the victim can't speak anymore.
Exactly.
So anybody speaks on behalf of the victim, it's usually
Well,
us.
I appreciate what you guys have done and are continue to do.
Well, it's been a long time,
I
and
appreciate it.
and we've all been in cases that they're not easy cases to work, and there's always reasons for why cases don't get solved or that takes years to solve. But we never give up on them.
Before we go too far, guys, I was waiting for another, but before we go too far, let's go back to 3 marriages. Let's go back to that. Do you notice how the investigator, I think this is Mr. Mike Parsons. Do you notice how Mr. Parsons didn't elaborate? If you was justice for Pauline, or if you was investigating Pauline's death, or you was, who's this second husband? Buford was her last husband. Pete Vance was her first husband. Who's this second husband? Who's to say? Forget about Buford. Forget about an ambush trying to kill Buford Pusser. What if this is a husband that's reaping revenge for her leaving him? It's not. We think it's either issues mentally or something Baldwin has told him. But my point here is, why didn't Mr. Parsons, if he's really wanting to investigate the death of Pauline Pusser, why didn't he elaborate or ask Phyllis? Why didn't Phyllis speak up and say, no, Griffon, she was only married twice? Why didn't they don't want to, if there's any issues with Mr. Griffon's competency, they don't want to raise that issue. They don't want to have to go to other family members and try to get permission to dig Pauline. That's the guy. They're looking. Like Sheila said a long time ago, they went to the easiest mark.
The weakest link.
The weakest link. Not to insult nobody.
No.
But 80-some years old, in the upper 80s, he did not elaborate on that second or third husband. Why? As an investigator, I would have been all over that. Now, who was this husband? What child did she have? Where's that child at? Where did that child go to? Because we have learned through our investigation that there was a third child, Felicia, and Felicia was a special needs child. She was like that because of abuse that she suffered from being punched or hit in the belly or whatever from Pete Vance. That's the you're going to hear him say, he said he never heard that. Well, you're going to hear after a while that he was never around. In fact, she had moved away with Pete Vance to Pike County, Kentucky at one time. Later on, you're going to hear how much interaction they had, which was very little. You'll hear him say that he was the glue that kept the family together, or one of them may have put that in his mind and said, you're the glue that kept the family together. And they use that over and over and over, that he's the man. He's the real deal. They don't use that term, but it's what they meant. But my question is, why didn't that detective, or one of those, there's 3 detectives there. There's 3 there. Why didn't one of those detectives elaborate? And Mr. Griffon, what was that other husband's name? We'd like to talk to him. They know that there's not 2 husbands or 3 They know there wasn't a second husband in between Pete and Buford. They know that. They've done their research, and they're already worried about competency, in my opinion. So they sure don't want to, let's just treat them easy, handle them with kid gloves, and let's just be real sweet, real nice, don't question nothing. Because if you've got sundowners, or if you've got dementia, Alzheimer's, if you got anything like that, and you get a person, it's like Sheila on this computer. She can do stuff on this computer, and I get so bumfuzzled I couldn't tell you what she's doing. And that's somebody like that. As you get up in age and years, you confusing, something that confuses you.
Mm-hmm.
My point is,
And they get kind of irritated when you try to
question
them about things.
Yeah, they
or
get
say,
irritated.
No, that's not what happened. And then
once they get irritated,
mm-hmm.
it's hard to calm them back down. It's hard to bring that person back, elderly. They didn't even touch on that. Who is this guy? Who was the other husband? Who was the child? How old was the child? Where's the child at now?
Mm-hmm.
Where's that child at now? Guys, DeWanna's dead.
Yeah.
Mike's dead. Diane's dead. But wait a minute. He said she had another child. Where's that child at? Because forget about going to her brother. We need to go to the next of kin, which would be the other child. Whether she was from a third marriage, a ninth marriage, whether she was out of wedlock, she's got another daughter there, another offspring. That's who they would be going to. Why didn't they ask, where is this daughter? Where is this third child? Did you hear them ask?
No, he was talking about, he said, didn't she have another child
Yeah,
or something?
she had 3 children.
Mm-hmm. And he said, yeah.
He said 2 by Pete,
Mm-hmm.
Roman, and then 1 by third marriage, another marriage.
And he didn't say who that was.
They let it go. They didn't ask where that child was at. I don't even know if they mentioned it was a female. She just had a third child. Play it on, but now
Okay.
play it on.
All right.
No,
And that should show you that we're here with you today.
cold cases that get solved every day.
Yes, sir.
And that's, that's usually there's reasons, and it's either forensic science or medical science or some kind of newly developed forensic technology that they didn't have 56 years ago that helps us solve these things.
Back then, I know it was TBI. I know they did the best they could with what they had probably at that time. But I think
Stop it. He said back then the TBI done the best they could with what they had. Well, what they had was 14 .30 caliber spent casings, 3 bullets at least, Pauline's shoes, Pauline's clothing, blood samples from Pauline and Buford, the car, what they had back then. They done as good as what they could do with what they had. Well, what they had, Mr. Mullins, they lost. They lost it. There's no physical evidence. Now, this detective here is telling him it's hard, the things that people can do now with forensic evidence. There's nothing to compare nothing to. They've lost the evidence from back then. I've covered that in the last video. We won't beat a dead horse, but keep that in mind. Mm-hmm. There is no evidence to compare anything to. That's what they're doing right now. They're on a fishing expedition. They are hoping, since they've lost all the physical evidence and the original file, mm-hmm. they're hoping they can get him to agree, and he does, to dig her up. And they're hoping in her head there will be some bullets that they can take and compare those bullets to this gun that Ricky Plunk's had for 58 years. And that those bullets will match up with her head, what was in that gun. Because they have no shell casings or anything from the scene to match up to it. Yeah, the 30-06. I forgot about the 2 30-06 casings. All that stuff is gone, but go ahead.
Today, could have had more definite answers probably.
And that's why we're here, because you can always, we have the luxury of, Warren Jones and John Sloan were the TBI agents back in the day that were working this case. And to their credit, they did everything they could possibly do with the technology they had, the expertise they had. But you can always, in our working cold cases, you can always kind of go back on these older cases and look and see certain points in it.
John Sloan and Warren Jones did all they could. Warren Jones and John Sloan or somebody lost the evidence, guys. Somebody between 1976 and 1983, they started looking for the file and the evidence, and it was gone then. So last time they seen it was 1976. But as any agency, you're very seldom going to have, if you work for an agency, that's your agency. Very few people is going to talk about their own agency. They'll talk about other agencies. They'll talk about other departments, just not ours. Ours is the best. Go ahead.
All right.
Investigation to where whatever the limitations were, if they either had A, forensic science, or they had B, this, then the case might have went a different direction.
Right,
but
exactly.
they were limited back then. So
They hadn't lost the evidence.
Yeah, law enforcement is like everything else.
It advances, yeah.
It's
Medical field, it's no different. It's getting to that, people tell me, all the years I've done it, said, you could probably get away with murder. I said, no, I don't think I could get away with murder.
Yeah.
But I make it work like hell to catch me.
Yeah.
And the reason is the technology.
Some of these comments that these guys make just really, in the last video, Mr. What's his name?
Mike Parsons.
Parsons says that if it come down to raising his kids or feeding his family or something, he would have, he'd do bad things. And
Yeah.
I would hope not as a cop, at least give up the badge and do them. Hopefully not as a police officer. Or this guy says they said he could get away with murder, and he said, I may not, but I'd make you work for it. But I don't know. If you're going to do it, if I was going to do somebody, I think I'd go to Tennessee to do it. Just my thoughts. I feel you, baby. You're right. Go ahead.
Exactly.
You can get away with it, though. That would be the place unless you became famous and they wanted to.
Society cannot be tracked, cannot be located, cannot be determined. They're almost to their thoughts in some capacity of what was going on, because it's just scary what's out there.
Yeah.
And so, but back in 1967, you go back, I was 2 years old, and say it's all they knew. You talk about your coal mining father, and it's like that was normal to them. What he did every day, it was as normal as it is to us.
Oh yeah, it was.
And the way they approached these crime scenes, the way they approached these cases was a process that was normal to them, because it was based on experience and life experiences and repetition of what they did in the 60s. And it changes, and you have to adapt. And that's where we're at today. And that's what we basically knew we had an advantage, was we were able to say, let's look at this and see if there's anything forensically that can change or help us with determining who's responsible for Pauline's death.
All right.
And that's why we've done a lot of work, and now we're in your living room.
Right.
And that's a good thing.
Well, yes, that's very true.
And the sad part about it is that your mom, your dad, your brothers, your sisters, they didn't live long enough to hopefully see Pauline get justice, but you're sitting in a position where we think, based on some of the things that we've worked.
Guys, first of all, you got 4 strangers sitting in these elderly people's living room. If that doesn't feel intimidating to people, it should. Second of all, there's a newspaper article out there with Jack Mullins, Pauline's father, and her mother sitting on the porch of their house in Hayside, Virginia, sitting on the porch, and they've been interviewed, and they asked them about Buford and Pauline, and loved Buford, and never heard anything out of Buford and Pauline and all that stuff. Never heard Jack Mullins say the first bad thing, or his wife, about Buford Pusser. Now, this detective here says the sad thing is that your family had to go to their graves without knowing who murdered Pauline. would you rather go to your grave without knowing who murdered somebody, or thinking that maybe they've accused the wrong person? Again, you'll hear me say it. I've said it for 40 years, and I would rather as a police officer, I'd rather let a guilty person go as I would ever to arrest an innocent person or accuse or incarcerate an innocent person. It just isn't, it's just not worth it. I'd rather let a guilty person go and get them another day. But he's making this point to Mr. Mullins here, but Jack and all of them, they had to go to their grave with not knowing who murdered Pauline. We still don't know who murdered Pauline. We still don't know that. We know who they convicted on that stage that day of murdering Pauline. We know who was selected to be the murderer of Pauline. We know how the narrative was supposed to go, and it went that way with the TBI and Mr. Davison's office. It went that way. Their narrative, they followed it to a T. They followed Mike Elam's book and Oakley Baldwin's book, and now Barbara Biven book, and to a T. Doesn't make it right, doesn't make it true. It just shows the track and the direction that they're in or on. Go ahead, Pump.
Okay.
On over the last year on this case, and with your help, that we think we might be able to bring some closure to this and some justice.
With your help.
And again, I'm trying not to get way out above my skis, in front of my skis, because it's all, there's these things, a lot of moving parts. And the time and the distance between when it happened and now. I mean, we're almost at a losing advantage starting, but we really think we're in a good place on hopefully providing some answers at some point.
I would sure like to get a good closure on it, and hopefully it can happen.
And I have these squirrel moments, and I apologize when I get sidetracked on stuff, but it's just trying to kind of just cover some of the family history on how Pauline, from what I understand, met Buford in Chicago.
Yes. Buford and my other sister Kathy, Buford and Jerry Wright grew up in Finger, Tennessee, over there.
That's where I live. We call it Fanger down there.
Fanger, yeah.
Fanger. Like it's an A, not an I. It's Fanger. Yeah.
And they worked for Union
Bag.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And also had a brother work there with them. And then Buford got to bouncing at a bar, and Mike was the bartender. And that's where Pauline had met him. And she ended up marrying Buford, and my other sister married Mike.
Okay.
Now who was Mike?
Jerry Wright.
Jerry. Okay. Now, did they all, kind of like you said earlier, did Mike and your other sister, did they all move down to Tennessee together, or?
No, just Pauline and Buford. Carl had called Buford and told him he wanted him to come down and run for constable or sheriff. And so they left there, and Mike and Kathy moved to Louisville.
I got you.
Well, they lived in Chicago for a long time.
Yeah.
They didn't move to Louisville until
8 years.
several
maybe,
years
so
after
Pauline
Pauline's
Buford
dead.
moved to Tennessee.
Was Pauline working in the bar up there too at the time?
Not as I know of, no, sir.
Okay.
No, never known her to.
What?
That's her brother. If he is competent, then that shoots another one of Mike Elam's and Oakley Baldwin's miss in the foot, because Mike Elam says that he heard she was a stripper, a go-go dancer, an exotic dancer.
Mm-hmm.
That's what Mike Elam says. You ask him where he heard it from, and he can't remember. Forgot who told him that. Forgot where he heard it. When you have somebody tell you they heard something, but they can't tell you where they heard it from or who, it's usually because they're the author of it. It's usually because they're the one that started that rumor, that tale. And that's what it was, is a tale. There's her brother. He said he lived in Chicago at one time. All of them went to Chicago at one time for work.
Mm-hmm.
He's never known Pauline to ever work in a bar or a saloon or a whatever he said it was there.
Yeah.
Entertainment or it happened. Never, as far as he knew, he said.
Yeah, he said a bar, and she said
Okay.
no. And Griffin said no.
Which, go join a strip joint, a stripper, whatever, would be considered a bar.
Mhm,
That's
okay.
where you would go to, it's just a nude bar. Go ahead.
And you know, I know, we talked earlier briefly about, Roman and Pauline, and, to y'all's knowledge, you didn't know that anything was going on, and things and times were different back then. I mean, I think the domestic family situation, say in the 1950s and 60s, might have been different than what it is now.
Pauline would have told us, because we grew up as really a close-knit family and always have, and
But she never told you anything about Roman, though. So if that's true for Roman, would that also be true for...
she might have talked to Kathy and her sister,
Yeah.
but she never said anything to Mom and Dad.
Yeah.
I know that he was running around. I was younger then, but I do remember him, that he was, she caught him with some other woman or something.
I got you.
And
Was that close in time to when she died?
No.
No.
So several, but it was when they had moved back to Tennessee or something.
What?
Stop. Did you catch it?
He said that
He's talking about
Vance.
He's talking about Roman.
Yeah.
Play of words, guys. Play it back. He's talking about Roman Vance and about Pauline and him having issues and problems. And he's talking about domestic violence. And then he takes it over to, was that?
No, that
No,
was
she's still in
probably.
Chicago.
Okay.
So what he's saying is, he asked him, he said, was that before she was killed?
Mm-hmm.
They're not talking about Buford. They're talking about Pete Vance.
Oh, wow.
Very confusing to me.
Yeah, it is.
Confusing to me. I can imagine being him, because they're not talking about Buford. But he asked him, if I'm not mistaken, you all can rewind it. I can't. We're on this recorder here, but
Mm-hmm.
is that before she was killed? She wasn't killed for years later. After she left Pete Vance had nothing to. Did the detective get confused, Mr. Detective Parsons? Did he get confused where he's at? Or was he trying to confuse? I don't know. I'm just asking a question, because you're
Right.
dealing with a elderly man, and now you've confused me, because you went straight from Pete Vance and domestic abuse over to Buford and said, was that right before she died?
Mm-hmm.
No, he's married to Buford for years. Go ahead.
The morning that he got shot, I cut his hair that afternoon, late that afternoon, and he was telling me that he was going to Kentucky to visit his in-laws, and he was laughing about that, said, you have to go sometime. And that was late in the afternoon, and he got shot the next day.